This served them well in their high-stakes activities during their time in Singapore. In particular, Maxim demonstrated enormous courage, rescuing his sister from an airborne helicopter, a feat which involved hanging from the skids and then climbing aboard the machine to take on Cameron Liu, a woman renowned for her combat skills. Emotional state. Both children have displayed stoicism beyond their years and a capacity to detach themselves emotionally from situations, an important skill in this business and something they will continue to work on for many years to come. While both Maxim and Kensington were deeply upset by the attempt on their grandmother's life, their reactions couldn't have been more different. Maxim believed they should abandon their World STEM Championships team and stay in London with the family, while Kensington's response was loyalty to her peers and the conviction to finish what they had started. She was of the opinion that ultimately this is what their grandmother would have wanted too. While Maxim wasn't happy about the situation when his parents sided with his sister, he did acknowledge their reasoning and accepted their decision. Had the children not gone to Singapore, things would have turned out very differently. Other information. Autumn Lee had not heard from her parents, Irene and Fletcher Lee, who together lead the Asian Bureau of Pharos, for almost 6 months, a fact that came as a shock to Kensington and Maxim, who until this point hadn't given a lot of thought to the other roles agents take on around the world. Autumn found this time particularly challenging and was relieved to see her mother and father, who were working undercover on the smuggling ring case, Irene as a second maid to Sedgwick Co., and Fletcher in the position of managing director of the Jurong Bird Park. Both were disguised and working under the assumed identities of Maylin Garcia and Heston Fong. Dame Spencer has decided they should take an extended holiday and spend time with their daughter over the European summer. Curtis Pepper continues to prove his worth as a trainee agent, taking on new challenges and developing his skills with the determination and proficiency that is highly commendable. Chapter 1. Max looked at his watch for the umpteenth time since they'd left home. "Do you really think this is a good idea?" the boy asked, glancing at his father, who was sitting beside him dressed in jeans, a t-shirt and cap, all in black. "And is this car stolen?" Ed turned and grinned at his son. "You really think we'd do that sort of thing?" Max raised his eyebrows. "I'll ignore that. Do you want your notebook back or don't you?" Ed asked. Father and son were seated in a grey, late-model Mercedes-Benz that Max had never seen before, parked down the road from Magoo McGregor's townhouse. Kensy and Fitz were parked the next street over in a Volvo SUV, another car of mystery origin. They would move on Ed's instructions once the headmaster of Central London Free School and his wife Tippy had left the house. "What if it's nothing, Dad?" Max said, "and we've gone to all this trouble, not to mention a fair amount of risk, for some silly note that means Zippo?" The boy took a deep breath and tried to calm his racing heart. "And what if it's something?" Ed replied. "I'm glad you finally told me about it, Max. Coming on the back of that DNA Song discovered on the doorstep of number 13 after Sydney was kidnapped, I have to say I'm more than a little concerned." "Could Percy McGregor have faked his own death?" Max asked. "Is it possible he's still alive?" Ed shrugged. "I've come to believe that anything's possible, but the photographs of his bullet-riddled body seemed pretty conclusive. If he's still with us, then that corpse must have belonged to someone else." "Does Granny know anything about this?" Max said. Ed shook his head. "No, best we keep this between us at the moment. She's fragile after being poisoned, and I don't want her worrying. I think the Novichok has given her some lingering complications. Let's just get your notebook back and try to decipher the rest of that code. Then we'll worry about the mysterious Percy." Max nodded, then focused on the bottom left corner of his glasses, which had a built-in rear-vision mirror. "Dad," he said, and touched his father's arm. Magoo and Tippy McGregor had just walked out the front door of their terrace. Magoo was dressed in a dinner suit with a bow tie, and Tippy wore a long gold gown, a matching shawl around her shoulders. "Rabbits have left the building," Ed said aloud. "Roger that," Fitz replied. He, Ed, Kensy, Max and Song were all wired with minuscule earpieces, allowing them to communicate. "What's the status, Song?" Ed asked. The butler was in the process of disabling the McGregor's security system from the back of an innocuous grey van parked across the road. He would loop the camera's feeds and